Hello beautiful people, and welcome to one of the special edition videos, the portal videos. This one will be focused on today's 8-8 Lionsgate portal, which is actually happening on a day that adds up to number 8, because we are in the year number 1 after all, and this is officially ushering us into the eclipses, because we are fast approaching the first eclipse of this summer, which will be the new moon solar eclipse in Leo. I already pre-recorded a video for this occasion, and it will be launched exactly as the solar eclipse peaks on Wednesday the 12th, but in this video, of course, I'm going to focus on the energy of the 8-8, which is technically AAA today, even though not exactly, and it's the very powerful manifesting number, because of course associated with Saturn and Jupiter. Saturn gives the form to all our dreams, wishes and desire. Jupiter is no longer the ruler of the North Node, but never mind, Jupiter is in the sign of Leo, and we are in Leo season after all, so it's amplifying and exaggerating whatever it is that you desire, that you've been working on since 2022-2023, when Jupiter started the new cycle, when he was in the sign of Leo, sign of Aries, and of course we also had the eclipses in the sign of Aries, and Pluto started entering the sign of Aquarius in 2023. So all of this that we've been working on in this past 4 years is now wanting to be manifest. Like, okay, what do we want to create? What do we want to give a form to? So today's 8-8 portal is giving us an opportunity to do exactly that. And of course, with the new moon solar eclipse in Leo, which is definitely not a coincidence that this will be the next one to follow, we are going to be seeding that, seeding these intentions, seeding these desires that, yes, this is what I'm creating here, because by the time Saturn moves into the sign of Taurus in 2028, these things will start taking form. And then, of course, as the time will go on, we will see more and more of that manifest. But also Mercury is now out of his post-retrograde shadow, so that's very helpful. So we are going ahead, and Mercury will be moving into the sign of Leo actually tomorrow, so already in the sign of Leo for the eclipse. Venus is now in the sign of Libra, very powerful in her rulership, and yeah, actually Moon today is in the sign of Gemini, so moving through that final decan of Gemini, which is of course Aquarius decan, and will be moving into the sign of her rulership, Cancer, tomorrow. So again, very powerful energy that play for us with everything else that's going on with the stars. Again, if you would like to hear more about them, then tune into my solar eclipse video on Wednesday. But here I'm going to pull some cards for the 8-8 portal today, Lionsgate. But before I go into the cards, I would like to announce that also my final sale ever has been launched. It's 33% of all my services. I chosen the 33% specifically because it is the Christ consciousness, heart consciousness, and we are in Leo season, which is all about the heart, following your authentic expression, whatever it is. So if you would like to book any of my services, you can get this 33% discount, because as I mentioned in my previous videos, I will be completely restructuring my pricing. So this is the final time I'm running sale. I will never be running any sale ever again. So that's it. I actually already started recording this video multiple times, and I already started with the deck I always use for the portal work, which is the White Light Oracle from Alana Fairchild, and I already pulled a card, but then the light kind of disappeared. So I am going to show you what the card was. It was the Garuda Suparna. I am going to read from the guidebook, because with this deck, like, it is very helpful to use the guidebook, even though Alana Fairchild's descriptions are very long, but I'm just going to try to get the key points. But yeah, straight away, this is number 6, 42, number 6, so that's about balancing. We just had the full moon in Aquarius, which was of course balancing the energies that got seeded with the solar eclipse back in February, which was also the beginning of the fire horse year we are currently experiencing. But also, as we can see, there is a hawk there. I believe it's a hawk, and it's about the vision, seeing beyond, what's right in front of you, seeing from the higher perspective. So that's why I feel like this is more about what are you visioning for your future, because now with the North Node in the sign of Aquarius, even though this eclipse will be on the South Node, but the North Node is in the sign of Aquarius, both are on 29, the analytic 29-degree point. So what are we visioning that we want to manifest, bring into manifested form? And of course, with Aquarius, it ain't gonna be the same thing for everyone. It's going to be, what is your heart's desire? Again, South Node in Leo. The sense of purpose and destiny is no longer to be dictated by someone else, Piscean age. We are in Aquarian age now. So with all the other things, like I said, there are a lot of things going on in the sky for this eclipse. There is this beautiful kite. We have the grand air trine, and like everything else, the chart is quite beautiful. What is the vision of the future that we want to bring into manifested form, that will bring a balance and harmony to what we are experiencing right now, which for most people is not very likely not the dream come true. And at the bottom of the deck, it's the number 16, which is a number 7. Number 7 is associated with Neptune. Also in a major arcana, number 16 is the Tower. So there are a lot of things changing quite rapidly, a lot of disruption, unexpected occurrences happening, whether that's in our personal life, whether that's in the collective consciousness, on a collective the world stage, but also with nature. There are a lot of things going on that are outside of our control, and this one is the Sun of 417, which actually adds up to number 12, which is number 3, again all about creation, manifestation, expansion. So I'm going to read what these two cards like what is the message from them, and then move to the next deck after that. So I'm going to start with the Garuda Suparna, number 42. Yeah, I don't use this deck very often, and there is always a lot of information in it, but at least I want to share some key points. So that's this one, Garuda Suparna. So it says, cultivate confidence in yourself. You have the inner spiritual power to deal wisely and effectively with any situation. Don't allow anyone to take advantage of your kind nature. Reflect upon what action feels best for you to take, and then follow through with decisiveness. Do not allow negativity to get a grip in your life. Positive energy and outcomes are indicated. And then let's see if there is anything else that jumps out for me. It just says that the Garuda is a mystical king of birds, eagle-like divine creature celebrated in the spiritual traditions of the East. Suparna means to have powerful wings and fly well. So I feel, now reading this description, that this really is about, because again, we are in a Leo season. Leo is all about in like individuation, self-actualization. Obviously the individuation comes from the Aquarius, where you are not here to follow somebody else necessarily. You are not here to live somebody else's life or life based on somebody else's expectations. So yeah, what is the hindsight you can apply with regards to what kind of life you want to create for yourself? But of course there is this outer reality that say what is and isn't possible, the limitations of the program, the limitations of the matrix. So with regards to this card, now reading the description, I feel it really represents that awakening that's happening. Interesting, because I chose the Oracle of Awakening as one of the decks I'm going to use. The awakening that's happening for us individually and collectively, which is allowing us to actually get beyond the program, go beyond the program, with the high side of the eagle, see beyond, see above, and go into the direction that you came here to experience, you came here to create, the path you came here to walk, regardless of what's going on out there, regardless of what anybody else is saying or believing is and isn't possible, because now our powers are coming in line, like we are remembering, we are starting to remember who we really are. So again, Moon currently is in the sign of Gemini, in that final decan, already in the new phase with Uranus, who is in the sign of Gemini, but Moon will be moving into the sign of Cancer tomorrow, which is about connecting with your intuition. Like for example, I have a situation in my life, and like logically I can explain it, logically I can say, okay, this is right, this makes sense, it is the right thing, but inside there is something that doesn't feel right about it, and I can't explain it. There are many times we come into situations, occasions, even like when you hear news or watching something on social media or something, there is something within us, some wisdom, some guidance from someplace else that say that don't pay so much attention, to these things that are being offered from the external, because it's not necessarily the right thing for you. It doesn't, this is the thing with, like I said, with Jupiter before, it doesn't matter what is the truth, there is no one truth. So what really matters is, what do you want your truth to be? How can you look with the high side into the future, like with kind of like, you know, with the looking glass, like what kind of future do you want to envision? Because now with the 8-8 portal, you have the power to create it in this, you know, Leo season coming up for the Leo eclipse, the first one of two. There won't be 3 eclipses, and there will be no lunar eclipse in Leo, as I mentioned in my eclipse video. So this is a very powerful energy, very concentrated energy, which is talking about creation and manifestations of your dreams and desires. So look outside of the box, look into the future, look beyond what you see right now in your external world, or what everybody's saying, doing, and whatever. You know, everything is changing all the time. Well, even what it's already been said, it's in the past, you know. So yeah, so I feel this is here to remind us that you have the power, to do it, to make your dreams come true. And then the Sun of 417, which is the card number 16, the frequency of Neptune. You have what it takes. So again, the same message. You are a light bearer. Within you is a healing power and spiritual wisdom you can tap into to find your way through any confusion or doubt. Have confidence in yourself and know you are enough. Expect an affirming yes from the universe. And then it says about the sun. Our sun is a self-luminous being. It does not reflect energy or light or energy from other sources, but rather generates its own light. It's quite literally an enlightened being. So this is about every single one of us. We all have a sun in our chart, which is the unique expression of you. Of, you know, like you can have, like for example, I'm Taurus, my husband is Taurus, but we are very different people. You know, it's not like we are copy paste. There are certain traits we share, but you know, there are a lot of things that are uniquely expressed through my soul, his soul, you know. So it's like that, you know, like that's why, like when you read a generic horoscopes, you know, like it, yeah, there will be things that will resonate and things that won't, you know. And there are many people who will read it, and there is something for everyone, right? So that's why it's like written in a way that is going to hit some spot. But in any case, you know, with this the sun is the authentic expression. Even like when you have a skip step in your chart, if it's coming from your sun, it's only for this lifetime, because every lifetime the soul chooses a different authentic expression of itself, right? The Pluto will work on the same thing, right? Like if it's unfinished business, then yeah, again, let's face this, let's do this. But the sun is only for this lifetime. The soul chooses it specifically because this is how it wants to authentically express itself through the role that we play, right? Like the identity that we choose to embody. But now with the South Node in Leo, a lot of people are realizing, especially with Jupiter now out of Cancer, so we're starting to understand it better. And you know, Mercury, as I mentioned, tomorrow moving into the sign of Leo, now out of the shadow and everything, we are starting to understand that, well, what I thought about myself is actually not the truth. You know, it's just a program, it's just a belief system, it's just a memory of something that I was being told, but it's not the truth, right? So we are starting to awaken to realizations that, well, things are not really what they seem, and the true guidance can only come from within. I wanted to see about this 417 hertz. The frequency of 417 is a spiritual truth theorem. Funny enough, the truth, right? It undoes false perceptions and dismantles circumstances and situations that are not meant for the soul. When a challenging situation is helping the soul to grow, this frequency will help you understand how to work through it in a soul-centered way, staying connected to the light within. If a situation, such a toxic relationship, is creating a barrier between the soul and the light, weakening its ability to evolve and causing it to become stuck in trauma and negative patterns, this frequency will dismantle the negative circumstances. You always have free will, but your capacity to exercise that free will in a self-loving way will become more available to you. The 417 frequency facilitates a healing shift into the vibration of the higher self. Your authentic life path is directed by your higher self. So in this oracle, it signifies that no matter what's happening in your life, you got this. So that's the true Leo essence, authentic expression and your own sense of purpose and destiny. It's funny, the light is coming in and out, you know, so we're just gonna work with that. Okay, so that was the White Light Oracle from Alana Fairchild. Now, in honor of the eclipse, I've chose the Moon Temple Oracle. This one is from Suzy Cherub, one of my favorite oracle card creators. So we're going to create, so with regards to the Leo 88 portal, the message was all about the authentic expression. Our power is coming online, remembering who you are, remembering that there is something within you that is going to guide you and always has your back. And we are starting to remember that we have the power to create and the power to choose, that we have the free will choice, right? And now the message from the actual eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse in Leo that's coming up with the Moon Temple Oracle. Moon Temple Oracle, what is the message from the Leo eclipse that we are fast approaching, August 12th? Because we are already in a frequency of the eclipses right now. Okay, I'm gonna choose this one. Love, blood full moon, and this is number 37, which adds up to number 1. And number 1 is the year we are experiencing, 10, 0, and the 1. So I feel also, because there is so much red, red is associated with our base chakra, which is our sense of safety, security, it's our roots. I feel this is yet another thing, because Jupiter is now out of Cancer. Cancer represents the family, the IC in our chart, which is about where we came from. But you can see this person is standing in their truth. It's a full moon. So this, once again, to me, is a realization of that. Yes, you have the family here in this incarnation. You have the ancestor lineage, but us, we are connected to the ancestor lineage of the humanity, because I don't know if any of us are from here. We came from different places, different planet, different star systems, and then we come here to help Earth, to work with Earth, also to learn, to grow and evolve. So we are now awakening to realizations that I am not just this family. I am not just continuation of my blood family, of the genetic. I also came here to become my own person, to go beyond what was being done in this bloodline, or with regards to humanity as a collective consciousness. And that's, again, to me, connected to this North Node in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, traditionally by Saturn, ruled by Leo. So we are moving beyond, we are starting a new cycle when we are moving beyond, that, okay, this is how it's always been. This is the South Node in Leo. This is how it's always been. This was the purpose and destiny because of the Cancer, the bloodline, as I mentioned as an example many times before, like in the old days, if you were born king, you didn't really have much of a free will choice. You had to become a king. That's it. It's not like you decided, okay, well, I want to be an entrepreneur and that's it. That was not possible. Same like if you were born a poor person, you couldn't just become rich person. Like you were born poor, you very likely died poor. That's it. But that's all now ended. That's finished. So now with the South Node in Leo, it's in a sense bringing out these stuck emotions and stuck beliefs from the past that say, well, this is how it's always been, so therefore this is my destiny. Like, no, through love we have the, like, again, the Christ consciousness, the heart consciousness. We have the opportunity to forgive, that yes, I chose, I forgive myself, and I forgive everybody in this scenario. I chose this. I chose to be born into this world, to be born into this family, to be born into these circumstances, because it gave me the launching pad for whatever the hell I came here to create. But it doesn't define me. It doesn't define me forever. So that's why, like, and you can see that she has like this gem on her chest, like the heart is coming online. Whatever we were born into, it gives us what we need in order to become who we came here to be. Not just become a copy paste of what was, but to go beyond that. North Node in Aquarius, to go beyond that. So that's why with the South Node in Leo, I feel, just based on these cards, these cards that just came out so far, that it's really shaking us realize certain things, even though it is a new moon, so it's like dark moon is but I feel there are so many things happening under the surface, because of course with Saturn Neptune in Aries there is just an energy. So there are a lot of things that are happening that are, we don't have a proof for, they don't have a form, we don't even have an evidence, because we're going beyond. If you have an evidence for it, it's a pattern of the past, it's something that already happened, something that already took place. So with the the roots are being very exposed right now, and especially because Uranus is done with Taurus, like what is no longer going to support us. Like, yeah, it's good to be humble, it's good to it's like not baseball, like not to put yourself above other people, like they say, like, right, in the Bible, turn the other cheek. There are things that don't deserve your attention, but also boundaries. Saturn in Aries, I feel, again, yet another thing, a lot of people are learning how to set boundaries. Like, yes, we all came from the same place, we will all return to the same place. Yes, we all come from oneness. However, our soul chose to incarnate and embody a unique expression, sun, right? Your sun in wherever it is. But we're talking about Leo season at the moment, and the solar eclipse in Leo, which is on the south node. The soul chose to embody a specific, unique expression of itself, because it came here to create its own unique path. Not like, oh yeah, everything is okay because we all brothers and sisters. That's true. With boundaries, because we all came here with a unique purpose, Leo. And this is what we see in the realization of, that yes, we came here to work on certain things together, and certain things that only you can do, like we all have the piece of the jigsaw that helps to contribute to the whole big picture, but your piece of jigsaw puzzle is unique, it's unique to you. So that's why we are rising in our like the base chakra is undergoing restructuring, because with the Uranus it's completely been taken apart. Now Uranus out of Taurus is the foundation. So the foundation is the base chakra, I mean the earth star, because that holds you, like it ties you to the earth. It, like, yes, you came here for a certain reason, also to work in alignment with what's needed, what needs to be done on this planet. But that is what connects us to earth, what allows us to be here. But your base chakra, it gives you the foundation for you, for your expression, for your experience. And then we have the number 11, which of course master number, and this says prove us, full moon. Yet another full moon card. So this one, because she has these antlers there, it's a very Capricornian energy to me. And interestingly enough, next year in summer, we will experience the first lunar eclipse in the sign of Capricorn, despite the fact that the nodes will be in Leo and Aquarius until March 2028. Right, but already next summer we'll experience a Capricorn full moon lunar eclipse. So I wonder whether there will be some answers for us next summer with regards to this process that we are entering into with this Leo new moon solar eclipse. As I mentioned, there will be no lunar eclipse in Leo until like 2036. There is only solar eclipse in Leo, and only 2 of those, this year and next summer. So with this Provus number 11, which is a master number frequency, I am curious, what does this actually represent? Let's see. Me, if the Queen of the Faith blazes her light of sovereign wisdom and loving reassurance, she declares your time is now. Your hunger for more passion and meaning in your life has led you here. Magical momentum is building. All your preparation and practice are paying off. The time, effort, and energy you've put in is bringing great progress. Decisive action in the direction of your goals align you to call in more opportunities and challenges that seed grow. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to read the whole thing. Yeah, the antlers, Capricorn. With the Aries, with the Aries Saturn, we are all learning. We are all learning how to become a conscious creator of our reality. But for that, we need to love ourselves enough to know, to believe. Her hair is the star. are the stars, is the sky, you know, to actually realize that you are not just earthbound. You know, our soul is being projected into this body to, I mean, animate this body to have an experience that it desires, but it is not here, just here, you know. The oversoul is somewhere else, you know. It's here, but it's also not here. So we are earthbound while we are in the physical body, but at the same time the soul is not limited by time and space and physical, you know, avatar, right? So we are all, like I said with the first card, we are all undergoing restructuring of the foundation of the understanding of who I actually am. Because with the, also with the Chiron, right? Chiron on the anaretic 0, we have the nodes on the 29 anaretic, Aquarius and Leo, fixed signs, and then we have the Chiron on the anaretic 0, but actually trining, right? Trining, Chiron is going to go back into the Aries, so it's trining the south node. So there is no coincidence, because Chiron is the key between Saturn and Uranus, the manifested reality, you know, the matrix, and the reality that you are desiring, you know, everything that you are interacting with, experiencing in your everyday life that doesn't set your heart on fire and doesn't make you feel happy, you now outgrown. So it offers a contrast and offers an opportunity for a new desire to come online. Again, desire, red, you know, the desire, the passion is being ignited, you know, the passion of the soul, that I came here to be more just the continuation of my bloodline, continuation of what's already been done. I came here now with the Aquarian age, Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, North Node in Aquarius, to take it beyond what's known, beyond what's been experienced. And this, you know, with the number 11, also number 11 in a tarot is the justice, right? So things are becoming balanced, like where, yes, for many thousands of years, like we forgot, we felt disempowered, we felt that we didn't have a choice, but now we are realizing that actually I have much more power, much more ability that I thought I did. So to me, this potentially is very strongly connected to the full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn we will experience next summer. So probably, because also number 11, yes, perfect, number 11 next year will be number 11, 2027. You can simplify it as number 2, but it is the master number frequency, number 11 year. So I feel these cards are very strongly connected to these two eclipses. The lunar eclipse, solar eclipse in Leo, which we are experiencing on Wednesday, and then lunar eclipse in Capricorn, which we will experience next year in the Cancer season, that are helping us to initiate this new way of creating reality in which you are really in charge. Because we always are, but we just don't know, we don't believe it, because we are being told that we are just hopeless and useless and faulty and whatever else, you know. So yeah, so we are learning to own, to owe, and to fully accept, you know, that's again with the Chiron in Taurus, fully accept the totality of who you are, because everything that you are and everything that you might see as imperfection or something that you want to hide from the world, it's your gift, right? Because the soul doesn't make, you know, the universe, the God, the consciousness doesn't make mistakes. It wouldn't choose for you to have a certain trait, certain characteristics, just by mistake. That's why with the Leo, it's about authentic expression. You will never find people who are right for you if you pretend to be someone else, which is something that I already knew as a very small young girl, when my dad said that I should look like this, behave like this, speak like this, act like this, dress like this in order to attract the man. And I'm like, well, why should I be someone else in order to attract a partner? Then he will be attracted to an image, not to who I am. And already as a child, I understood that well, if I try to behave or be or dress like someone I am not, then who I'm gonna attract is not in alignment with who I really am, but it's gonna be attracted to the image. And how many of us are living life through masks, through image? Because we think that, well, if people really knew who I am, if they really saw me, you know, in my imperfection, in all my flaws, people would reject me. You know, if people really knew what a loser I am, you know, they would laugh, like they would never even, you know, listen. But if people don't really see the totality of who you are, you know, the authentic expression, because yeah, you know, we all wounded, all of us, we all have Chiron somewhere, but that's, yeah, you can look at it as that's my wound, but that's also my gift, because trust me, there are many people who carry the same wound. That's why, like, Chiron is in one sign on average 7, 8, whatever years, you know. So imagine all these people born in these years, they have the same Chiron. So we carry the same wound, but we think like, no, it's just me, I'm more screwed up than someone else. So with the Capricorn full moon, I believe a lunar eclipse next year, we will be pushed to own it. Like, yes, and what, you know, look at look at all the clones that clones, you know, the comedians that are representing our countries. I mean, they are a laughing stock in most cases, and the soul took on that role that, okay, I'll be the laughing stock, I'll be the person everybody will point the finger at and laugh, that look at that person, like what an idiot, right? So that takes courage, you know, it takes courage to take on that role, to be, you know, to be the laughing stock. So as I always say, you know, I am grateful that my soul didn't put a hand up to say like, yeah, I'll do that, you know, I'll be a laughing stock in a different way. But to have that courage to be that vulnerable to embody that kind of persona, you know, that's, you know, there is a certain aspect of it that it's admirable. But in any case, based on these cards, I would say that we really are, whether voluntarily or being pushed towards, but eventually, you know, we will not have a choice. It's either that, okay, I will live my life from my heart authentically, and I take responsibility for whatever that entails, whatever that will attract, or I will keep pretending, and then eventually, like, an aspect of me will die and I won't be able to retrieve it, and then it will be a life half lived, you know, life of misery, because I will not be connected to who I really am. Okay, I'm going to pull a card from the Oracle of Awakening. This is Alana Simon, I think. I'll put in a description. Oracle of Awakening. So there is a 8-8 portal going on, there is a eclipses around the corner, and we know that during the eclipses is the destiny in charge. That's why the ancestors were afraid of eclipses, because the higher self, which is always in charge anyway, but at this time things really are happening that are meant to happen and have to happen in order to put us back on a track, in a sense. Okay, here we go, 2 cards. Shadow work, forgiveness and unconditional love. Both of these words were already mentioned. Storm, destruction of chaos. This was also mentioned with the card number 16, right? That sometimes it does take... Okay, the light. Yeah, a lot of storm and disruption in this video. Yeah, the light sometimes has to go out in order for us to... It's so interesting how it's so hard to show the cards. Sometimes the light has to go out, you know, in order to see what we're working with, I suppose. You know, the dark, they always in balance, you know, when the light is rising, so is the dark, so it could be healed. So yeah, it's interesting that all of these keywords I already mentioned, you know, so there are a lot of disruptions, a lot of situations happening that are definitely taking us out of comfort zone. The comfort zone is technically gone with Uranus now in Gemini, and that is forcing this transformation. The transformation is inevitable, you know, it's happening. So that's why, like, through the storm and disruption, there are new patterns, you know, you can see the sacred geometry, and new patterns are being created. And yeah, and a lot of us are facing our shadows. And it's interesting, both cards have the butterflies, right? The butterflies is, or in a sense, it's like a moth. It is covering his eyes, because when there are so many things happening outside of us that don't make any sense and we can't control, then where do you go? The only place you can go is within. And you can see the white flower, you know, so the purity of the soul is showing up. Yeah, forgiveness and unconditional love, as I mentioned, that sometimes, you know, with the love card, sometimes you even have to forgive to yourself that, yeah, why would my soul choose chose this life for me, these circumstances. Why would I choose it? Because if really I come from love and return to love, and love is all that is, then why would I had to go through difficult, challenging experiences, in some cases, for some people, really, really traumatic experiences? Why would my soul choose that? And it takes a level of maturity, Capricorn, Saturn, to be able to look at it from that hindsight, like that hawk, to say that, yes, eventually I will be able to forgive. I will be able to forgive and let it go and apply that unconditional love. The unconditional love is the love of the universe. It's not the fluffy one, not the human love. Unconditional love is the justice, is the, light and dark. Both have the right to be present. The source, the God's consciousness, it doesn't judge. It doesn't judge if somebody does something bad. If somebody causes a harm to someone else, it say, well, it's all learning, and these two souls agree that, yes, you need to learn, and okay, I'll be the prompt to help you to learn, right? So with regards to unconditional love, it is not what we think it is. Unconditional love is to accept everything for what it is, as it is, no matter what it is, no matter how dark, so that's why it's interesting how the light is constantly going in and out, because both have the right to be present, because they both serve purpose, and when there is no longer need for it, it will not be here. So that's why when we look at anything, whether it's in our life, or whether it's out there, or whether it's on the world stage, or whether it's wherever it is, it's easy to judge. I am a master judge, especially of myself. It's easy to judge, but if we really believe what we preach, which is this, that, everything has a purpose and a meaning, and, like there is always, like, the love is always there, the God is always there, even though sometimes it's hard to find it. But yeah, that's why we don't look with the eyes. The unconditional love, it cannot be seen, it can only be felt. And again, we are in a Leo season, the heart is coming online. I'm sure I mentioned this many times before, how it's going to, a lot of time, how does it come online? By hearts being broken. The heart cracks open, not close. Then, people can choose that, okay, I'm gonna close it again. But in the point of when, hard things happen, the heart cracks open to allow for the more light, just like with the Chiron, the wound is when the light enters you, because otherwise we create all these walls and all this protection, the armor, and then the change is hard. And at the bottom is the portal. The portal, access to the infinite. Yeah, perfect. Here we go again. Yeah, the portal, here we go. The access to the infinite. So we are entering a very important eclipse season, which will actually close the eclipses of the past 3 years, because at the end of August, on August 27th, we will have the final of the 3 eclipses in Pisces, which we only had the lunar eclipse, not solar eclipse, again, another interesting anomaly. So the portal is saying the access to the infinite. And you can see there is a moon in there. The moon represents your sense of identity, your intuition, is the high priestess. High priestess is the moon in a tarot. So everything that's happening is actually helping us to connect with the true sense of who we are, which is the infinite being, and with the guidance within, which is the only guidance that will be able to show you the way forward. Because if we are relying on the mind, which, like I am a very, very mental person, so this is something that I personally struggle with, and it's going to be a challenge for me to switch from being so mind-oriented and analytical, and there is always so many things going on in my mind and stuff. Like, how do you switch from that way of being, which a lot of us have, especially people who experience a lot of trauma? They want to know, they want to control, they want to plan, they want to organize, stuff like that. So how do we switch from that way of being into the way of being that is led by something else, that it's like, you know, I don't have the words, I don't have the explanation, I just and also the flow, the state of flow. How do we live in a way that is from a moment to moment being present, rather than like, yeah, we have all these plans for so long in advance, and then because we're planning based on the past, we are just recreating the past. So with the eclipses, with this 8-8 portal, you know, the portal to the infinite, again going back to the what I said initially, what is the vision of the future you want to create? Because now we have the ability to do that, and the manifestation is speeding up. We are creating at a faster pace than ever before. That's why we have to be very mindful, you know, very mindful, like, what am I thinking, what am I worrying about, what am I talking about, you know, casting spells. Many times we cast spells on ourselves and others. So that's why we are becoming more aware, more conscious, you know, even like with the shadows, like, okay, what is this aspect of myself that I rejected, that I don't like about myself? What is it serving? Why does it exist? Because, you know, like, once upon a time it got created to protect me from something. So yeah, so with the portal, there is a portal to wholeness. There is a portal to wholeness that's being created. It's all the purple with the white, you know, like, things are culminating, and at the same time new things are opening up, you know, like with the gap in between. So that's why it's interesting. We have this first new moon solar eclipse in Leo, first one of the two, no lunar eclipse in Leo coming up, and we have the final one in Pisces, and the nodes are no longer in Pisces, they're already in Aquarius and Leo, because we are moving forward. The energy is forward moving, especially now with Mercury outside of his shadow. Okay, the final deck I'm going to use and pull a card from is the Psychic Tarot of the Heart from John Holland. I haven't used this deck for a very long time because I didn't have an access to it, but now I have it available right here, right now, so I'm gonna use it. And it's funny because at the bottom of the deck there is a card that says Embrace. It's a card number 21, which is the World card. So just as I was saying, you know, we are culminating things. Things are ending. Why? Because we already graduated. The 21 is the card of graduation, but then it becomes free, which allows for a new creation, new expansion. Jupiter is in the sign of Leo. It's all about creation. Go to the next level. You know, don't put limits on yourself, because you're not who you thought you were. If you forget everything that you know about yourself and about your life and about what you've been told and taught and everything, and you go back to that child, you know, the divine being that got incarnate into this planet before all the programs set it in, what would you want to create? And it is not easy. It's only easy for very small children before they are limited by everyone around them that projects their limitations onto it. But now, especially these new kids, you know, Pluto Capricorns, Pluto Aquarius, it's difficult to limit these kids. It's difficult to tell them what to do or what is and isn't possible, because they have their own sense of authority, something that many of us don't have. They have very strong boundaries, again, something that many of us struggle with. So they came here to teach, you know, they're obviously in a form of a small child, so they don't necessarily do it in a refined way, but there is a lot to learn from them. But at the same time, we have a lot to teach them, because, you know, this is the first time they incarnated on this planet, maybe in a long time, who knows. So anyway, final message from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, apart from the World card that is telling us about culminations. Okay, so we have 7 of Cups, daydreams and decisions, throat chakra, and at the bottom is share the love. This is a 3 of Cups. Okay, let me see if I can get the light to come back. Here we are. All right, so these 3 cards. So the daydreams and decisions, which is the 7 of Cups. So 7 of Cups, even though a lot of people call it the Pisces Cups, is actually still a second decan of the water signs. So 7 of Cups, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's an 8, 9, 10. So it's the third decan of Scorpio. So Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. So 7 of Cups actually represents Cancer. Scorpio with Cancer. So it's saying about all the things, all the shadow, all the uncomfortable situation that make us feel disempowered, which we have to face. So the 7 of Cups, like, yeah, illusion, delusion. But, there are these lessons. The 7 of Cups are technically lessons to help to teach you about yourself. Do you want to choose this or do you want to choose that? Because it doesn't matter what choice you make. It's going to teach you something. It's going to lead somewhere. So also 7 is a very spiritual number, it's a number associated with Neptune. So the soul is teaching us through a lot of choices, and like, yeah, I don't know what's in that cup. That one looks shinier than that one, and then like, okay, you will be able to choose again. It's teaching us how to grow, how to metamorphose into a new version of ourselves. And the fact that we have the throat chakra, we are learning what is your truth? What is your truth? Again, I'm going back to the 2022-2023 when Jupiter was in a sign of Aries and started this new cycle alongside the Aries eclipses and Pluto ingress into Aquarius. What have you learned since that time? Who did you become? Because you are not the same person you were in 2022-2023. So now, based on this like throat chakra, the truth, what do you want to bring into creation? Jupiter is now in Leo. What do you want to create? Because like I said, we cast in spells. So by thinking something, believing something, and speaking something, why not speak the things that you want to bring into manifested form, that you actually want to create in your life, the direction? And it's a number 5, 5th chakra. So number 5 is also a very spiritual number because it's the number of chaos and destruction, and that's the natural way of the universe. The chaos and change, continuous chaos and change. So many of us are learning to speak up for ourselves, to speak my truth, even though it is not comfortable, even though it might upset people. But if I don't say anything, then yes, I will have to grow through a situation that might not be what I think I am. I'm gonna grow either way. It's good, but do I want to learn the lesson now, to speak my truth and avoid that lesson, and then I'll learn different lesson, right? Or I won't speak my truth and then I'll have to go through the situation which will then force me to learn to speak my truth, whichever way we want it. But at the end of the day, 3 of Cups, the share of love. 3 of Cups is usually people coming together in co-creation. You can also say it could be, my higher self, my current self, and, my past, present, future self, whatever selves, but the 3 of Cups represent the 3, which is the expansion of consciousness. Cups is through the heart, is the second decan of Cancer, again, Scorpio, second decan of Cancer, Scorpio. So we are becoming more than who we were. So that's why, like, going back to what I said at the beginning, you are not just here to continue the bloodline. You come here to go beyond that, to become your own individual, to not just be copy-paste of what you were taught you have to be. Let me pull what is beyond that. Believe in success. Yeah, the 6 of Swords. Going into calmer waters. We are learning, that yes, there are many choices out there, but which one, because with the Cups you use your intuition, which one speaks to my heart? Because, like my husband always says, sometimes we choose the right things for the wrong reason or the wrong things for the right reasons. Either way, the polarity is always present, because no matter what choice you make, there always will be something that certain things that will be consequence of the choice you don't enjoy. Always. That's a guarantee. No choice is just gonna have a positive. Everything's gonna be perfect. It's not possible, because we are living in the world of duality and polarity. But it's important to be able to express what do I desire, with the Leo. How am I going to create if I can't even speak for myself? There's the Gemini sextile to Leo. I need to speak so I can create, and then you have the in conjunction, the Yod to Capricorn. How can I be a conscious creator of my reality if I don't even know how to speak my truth? Or, it's not even about speaking like, I need to tell everyone, but it's about like stay strong in what you believe is the right thing for you, even though it might change tomorrow, which is again experience I'm experiencing right now. Yeah, there was something that I thought was a good idea. Now, you know, week and a half later, I'm like, shit, shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have said that, maybe, you know. So, but it's always brings up opportunity for growth. So what it is for me. And yeah, with the Three of Cups, once again, you know, it's like we coming together to create something that goes beyond what was, and to take us into a better territory, you know. Like, actually, no, sorry, this is a Six of Wands. Six of Wands, not Six of Swords. But yeah, you know, we go into calmer waters by creating the success that you desire. The six is always about harmony. And that takes us back to the first card that I pulled, which was the 42, you know, the harmony and balance. How are we creating a new structure of reality by making a new choice that is helping to balance what was? And it's not necessarily by continuing what's always been. Because if we do what's always been done and be who we always be, then we always just create the same thing, same result, right? So anyway, with all of this flickering of lights coming in and out, I think it's a good place to end. But I hope that some of what I said give you some kind of idea of what we're playing with in this Leo season and the upcoming eclipses, Leo eclipse, and then, you know, coming into Virgo season, we'll have the final eclipse in Pisces, as I mentioned. And once again, just to repeat myself, if you would like to book a reading with me, then I am running my final sale ever, my 33% off all my services sale. All the services are listed on my website, moonlightsoul369.com. You can have reading with me or my husband. He also offers some readings that I don't offer, like the relocation chart. He also does the allocation one. I didn't put that on my website, but yeah, he does a lot of things that I don't do, that are not my specialization. But there is also the reading we do together. So whether you want a reading with me or with the divine masculine or both, you know, there are a lot of things to choose from. So if you wish to connect, if you would like some guidance with regards to what these energies mean for you in your life, where you at, or you just want to share, then feel free to connect. So with all that out of the way, I wish you all an abundant 8-8 portal, the portal to infinite abundance that is also going to be introduced and become available to us through the new moon solar eclipse in Leo coming up on Wednesday. And that video is already scheduled for release on my YouTube channel, so it will be coming out as the new moon solar eclipse peaks. So have a wonderful weekend, and I'll speak to you again soon in the divine time. Much love, everyone, and bye for now.